This is not my usual content I put on my channel. However, since I started YouTube almost 5 years ago, it's not that I haven't wanted to. Like, there has been so many times where I just want to talk non-stop about Bentley. You know, I just want to like scream his name from the rooftops. Obviously, he was my son, my firstborn son. For those of you that don't know, that maybe this is the first time you're clicking on one of my videos, back in 2019, in July the 21st, Bentley passed away in a tragic car accident. He wasn't with me or his dad, which his dad is Harper and Ryder's dad. My 2 kids I've had since losing Bentley. I don't know, I almost feel scared to film this video, and it sounds fucking ridiculous, but I think it's because I'm like internally, my personality, I'm a people pleaser. Like, I try and keep everybody else's peace. Like, I try and, you know, I don't like confrontation, and I just like to keep everybody else happy, I suppose. But in doing that, in keeping the peace with everybody else and thinking about everybody else's emotions and how they're gonna react or think or say or do, in doing that, I just keep compressing my emotions, feelings, my things that I'm thinking that I want to say. And I feel like the last year in particular, I don't think I'll ever fully heal myself as far as the people pleasing goes. I think that's just embedded in me, but like, I wish I could turn it off, especially when it comes to Bentley, an innocent child. Like, I don't know why I have got this feel in me to not overly speak about Bentley, because I'm scared of upsetting or offending other people. Like, it probably sounds crazy to all of you, but I can't explain it. It's just how I feel. So it's not that I never not want to speak about Bentley. And I feel like I see these mums on Grieving Mothers on Instagram and Facebook and even their YouTube videos, and they just can talk so openly about it. And it's not the fact that I can't talk about it. I mean, there will be things that, like, I'll be talking to a girlfriend about something, a reading I had with Mitchell Coombs, and I was pregnant with Harper, and I remember, and see, it's just certain days, certain times, and I do try and hold back crying in front of people. Like, I do, it's like I'm almost scared to cry in front of people, almost like it's painful, like when you're scared to go to the dentist or something like that, because you know there could be pain involved. That's how I feel about bursting out in tears in front of people, almost like it's going to be painful, almost like a stabbing or a gunshot or something. But obviously it's a different pain to that. But there is no real rhyme to this video. However, there is a lot of reasons I wanted to sit down and make this video. Especially today, when I upload this video, will be the day that I lost Bentley. So as I was saying, reading I had with Mitchell Coombs, a psychic medium, it was an over the phone reading, and me and Colin was there, and I remember him saying that, like, he knew that I was pregnant, and he come out and said that it was a girl, and he said, "I'm sorry if you didn't know that." Like, if we weren't finding out the gender, and Mitchell come out and told us what we were having. But we obviously knew that we were having a girl, and he come out and said, "Bentley wants you to know that he was the first one to hold her. And that every time I repeat that, I just, yeah. And I think it upsets me a lot, like hits me deep, because Bentley always said to me he wanted a sister. And I think that's why that part of that reading has really always, these years later, stood out to me and hits me so deep. And that's like when people say, and I hate when people say it, I absolutely hate it. And I know some people that don't understand this because they're one of the lucky ones and have never, and hopefully never will, experience losing a child, because I really don't think it's like any other. I really don't. I mean, not to say that obviously my parents are still alive, but it's not to say that when they do pass away that it won't hurt. Like, it will still hurt. Your child, once you have kids, I think that's why I think parents do a lot of what they do, is because they have them little people looking up to them, you know, needing them. Like I said, this video has no rhyme, but I just felt such a strong urge to do it. Like most nights, especially the last few weeks, I lay in bed and I toss and turn for ages, and usually I'm a pretty good sleeper. I'll hop into bed and it won't be long and I'll be out to sleep. But I feel like this has just been tossing around in my mind to just express myself in this way. Obviously, if you follow me on Instagram, I share reels like that I've come across that really resonate with me to do with loss, grief, that sort of thing. But yeah, I just wanted, if nothing else, just for myself, like to express myself in this way, because I feel like, obviously I only started YouTube after losing Bentley, probably 14 months after losing Bentley. Harper was about 4 months old, I think, and we had Harper about a year after, in the August after losing Bentley. And then like, I definitely feel like I use YouTube as like a form of therapy. Like I use it like a tool to help me in grieving and just in life. Obviously, Harper and Ryder are the first things that keep me here, keep me going. As hard as it is, especially raising them full-time on my own, it's hard. But then, like I have moments of when it's still, and I think, like when I've tucked them into bed, and I think this life, I couldn't do it. I couldn't be here. And I wouldn't want to be here. And I feel like, despite the fact of not wanting to offend and upset people, like I said at the start, I really feel the other reason I don't get too in depth on this is because, and I actually was telling a close girlfriend of mine this, and she was just like, that's ridiculous, no one would think that, you know. But it's just the thought process in my mind and how my mind works and how my mind thinks. And I said to her why I feel like I push it down too, and just want to seem like, I mean, for the most part, I do get up and I do go on, and I think that does come down to personality as well, because all of us are different in how we will handle grief and loss and this sort of thing. So I do think it's a huge part of your personality and like your genetics and all of that, because my mum is also a very get up and go sort of a woman, like a very strong, independent get up and go. So I think that also, obviously, probably her being my mother and me being her daughter, I think that plays a part of it too. And the kids play a huge part in it, because everything I do, even down to like the looking after myself, I think they need me now, like, to be strong. So I feel like they need me to be strong. I need to be strong for them. Yeah, that's all I feel like that keeps me here. I don't want to sound depressing or morbid or any of that. But as I was saying to my girlfriend about, I feel I'm worried to like show weakness, that I'm having weak moments when I'm having weak moments, because I said, and it's probably going to sound ridiculous, but this, besides offending people, also I think, what if somebody sees me upset and down and like depressed, and then they start thinking, oh, like, is she okay? Like, is she parenting okay? Like, you know, and starts thinking that I'm not like caring for my children, which even saying that out loud now sounds ridiculous, but that's been thoughts in my mind of why I've got to always appear strong and positive. And for the most part, I think, given the fact that I've lost my firstborn son, I think I do for the most part try and be positive about things, as positive as I can. Obviously, when it comes to certain things, I'm not going to be positive. I'm never going to be positive about those sorts of things. But I'm very routine, and I feel like me sticking to a routine is, it might sound mundane, boring to people on the outside, but I feel like that's also how I cope. And obviously just having the kids with me is huge, but I'm not saying that they're here because like they help me, like I don't want it to ever sound like, oh, my kids are here just to fill Bentley's place, you know, and I don't want them to ever feel like that either, because at the end of the day, they help me so much, like they keep me strong. But no one, nothing will ever and can ever replace Bentley. He was one of a kind, happy, healthy little boy. And I feel like people say all the time, oh, it gets easier. And I think it gets easier because you just end up realising that there's no way out. Like, there's no way out until your time comes and you get to be with them again when your time comes, and then all your thoughts or your thinking or your grieving can stop and you'll be at peace. Like I said, I don't want people to watch this and get down. I think that's why I try and share positive things and be positive, because I don't want people to watch or hear my stuff and just feel drained, you know, or brought down. Like, I want to try and lift people up. I want to try and I just want to try and lift people up and make them feel energized. I don't want to have a conversation with somebody and they leave me every time feeling exhausted and drained, even though obviously that's just, you can't help that sometimes. There's going to be times like this video, which if you have been here from the start or watched several of my videos before this one, you'll know that this is probably different, very different to what I usually film. But yeah, so, and this is just how my brain works. I'm off all over the place. And I do think I use YouTube as like a bit of a journal as well, really strongly for the last few weeks. I hop in the shower, I'm thinking about it. I lay in bed of a night, it's there, and I wake up and can't get back to sleep, and it's there. And I try writing bits out with pen and paper to think, you know, if I get it out of here onto here, will that ease it? But it hasn't helped. So I thought, because I felt this strong pull to make this video, I thought, as hard as it is, and I feel like a part of me is shaking filming it, which I really have every right to talk about my son when I want and how I want. And really, at the end of the day, people don't have to watch. They're not forced to watch. They're not forced to listen to anything they don't want to. So if this is not something you're into watching, you obviously wouldn't have hit on this video. But like I said, I'm doing this for me, my emotions, to help try and release something inside of me at the moment. And as I've never made a video like this before, I really feel I needed to. I have seen a counsellor and I have spoken to a psychologist for a couple of sessions. And even after my first appointment I had with my counsellor, she said straight away, you're a people pleaser, you're trying to keep everybody else happy. And I do that because I feel I'm just scared of hurting people. I don't want to hurt people. I'm not like a horrible person, it's not in my nature. But yeah, I feel when something like this happens, you just, as I'm getting older, I just feel I'm slowly, like I said, I don't know if I'll ever lose the people pleasing in me, but I feel the last year something has just gone, fuck it, you know, we're all gonna leave here one day and be gone. So I just think while we're here, we should be able to express ourselves and say what we want. We all have a right to do that. Yeah, and I feel like lately I've been seeing a lot of mums on social media, YouTube, and that talking about their grief and really opening up about it. And I feel like, why don't I do that? And then I go back to the people pleasing comes in, and because I'm just trying to not upset or offend people at the end of the day. But whilst I'm protecting everybody else, I'm not protecting my peace in doing that, because I'm shutting myself and my emotions down. Like, I had this post I posted on Facebook the other day about, like, you know, going back or something, if you could go back and do things differently. And I had this one person, an old family friend, comment on it, and she said, oh, hold on to the good memories, or you have the good memories. And I didn't even think about it, and I just replied to her, and I was just like, but it's not the same. Memories are not the same. Like, people, and then I said, until it's happened to you, you don't know. Like, it's easy for somebody not in these shoes to say, hold on to the memories. Oh, you have your other two kids now. It's not the same. It gets me so angry, and I try not to get angry. Like, I didn't stay in it long. I read it and then put the phone down and went around the kids after I read that, just to get out of that, because like I was shaking from anger from that, because I just thought it's so easy for people to not be in this, to say things. And another thing, when they say about, oh, you wouldn't have, and I've had that a couple of times, you wouldn't have Harper and Ryder. And it's like, no, I wouldn't. But this might sound terrible, but it's the truth. No, I wouldn't have Harper and Ryder, because me and Bentley were content. It was just me and Bentley. I had just built a duplex, and we're in there just 2 weeks, I think, before I lost Bentley. And I had everything that I wanted. Not to say that obviously now I don't want Harper and Ryder. I love them with my whole entire being. And like I've said, I wouldn't want to be here. I don't know if I'd be here if it wasn't for them. Like, but Bentley's gone. So when people say that, because I think, yes, but Bentley would still be here. Bentley was 6. I'd raised him for 6 years of his life. Yeah, there's just some things, and I know people don't mean anything by it, like they're not trying to hurt you when they say that stuff. I think they just obviously don't know what it feels like. If they haven't lost a child, you don't know. How can you know? You're one of the lucky ones, you don't know. You get to live this life not knowing that. How that feels, how people have to carry that around for the rest of their life. Like I said, there was no real rhyme behind this video, but the reason was obviously to speak of Bentley, because I just want everybody and anybody to know of Bentley that didn't obviously get to know Bentley. And I will keep talking about him, and like I talk about him openly a lot all the time with my very close friends, the kids in the house. Like we have photos. If we're watching a movie and I'll say to Harper, oh, I took Bentley to see this movie, or things like that. Like I always talk about Bentley like that, but I just feel like, and I want to so badly talk more about him. And I remember reading him a story the night before, and he was really adamant about me reading to him too. And it was really late because we just watched a movie together and it went late. And then I remember getting a bit like, no, we're just going to bed. No, we're not reading, we're just going to bed. And then I ended up getting his chair at his desk and sitting it beside his bed and reading to him. Not ever thinking that was going to be the last story I got to read to him. So like I said, I just am doing this for me, even if it brings one person some sort of comfort that's possibly going through this or have gone through this, but most of all for myself and for Bentley. I just really felt that in memory of Bentley, I wanted to make this video and put it up for him and myself, and just to finally express what I've wanted to express openly here on my channel. And a part of me does often always think, because again, that's my personality, what are people going to say? What are people thinking? But at the end of the day, I wouldn't have started a YouTube channel if I really deep down cared. But I'm that cold-hearted that I can just take people's comments and hurtful things and that and just brush it off, because that's definitely not me, and I'm definitely not there, and I don't know if I ever will. But I do feel like a part of me has got this attitude now, not towards like my kids or general life, or because obviously I'm still I feel like I cook, I clean, I work out, I do all those things. Like I haven't just sat in a dark corner and not showered. I don't mean in that sense, I just mean in the whole sense of whatever. And like people do say, the older you get, the more you don't care, like you just like whatever, and I feel like I have gotten a bit more that, but yeah, not fully like that. I still do have a heart, I have feelings, I have emotions. I'm not a robot. Like I said, I feel like if I don't make this video, will these feelings to do this ever go away? Or will they just be there exhausting me because they're running through my mind? So that's why I wanted to make this video as well, as like a coping mechanism. Just like I think I use the exercise as a coping mechanism, because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't drugs, I don't go out, I'm not on antidepressants. So I feel like that's the things that help me to cope. And obviously, like I've said many times before, the kids are the number one reason. But those little things that I do, even down to the cooking, because I like to cook, and I just feel having these little things and having things like to set my sights on. And I feel like I'm forever going to be that way. Like I feel like I'm always going to be that way, like having to have things to set my sights on. Like even, it sounds ridiculous and all, but even receiving like a little package in the mail, like it just, for that day, in that moment, it's sort of, I can't explain it. Like I can't explain it. It sounds ridiculous. How can a package? But it sounds ridiculous. And I'm not trying to say that I'm like materialistic or anything like that, and I need to constantly buy things, but I feel like things like that do bring me a little bit of joy, like in that moment for that time. And I definitely think, because I wasn't like that, Like I wasn't somebody who, like these little things. And I feel like they're distracting myself, like I have to be busy, And I think, because you hear all this thrown around, ADHD and all this these days. And I mean, I think majority of us have it. My doctor even said that to me. And especially mums, because they have so much to do. They can't just, they have to make good use of their time. So like if you go into a room and you set out to go in there to do something else, and then you're off doing something else in there that you didn't even go in there to do. I think that is just how our mum brains are wired, to think we need to be proactive with our time, with the time that we have. But I do feel like I do keep going, and it may appear like an ADHD thing, and maybe it is. I'm not saying it's not. I feel like that also for me could be the way I cope as well. The way I sort of tick off each day, another day, done, and I made it, Just these little things that sound ridiculous, but I feel that's just what's really helped me. And the exercise, like people talk about the exercise like it's an antidepressant, it's a medication, and I feel like it really is. Like I feel like it really is to me. If I'm in a down, bad, really angry state and I'm sitting there and I feel like I'm not going to get out of this is it. And then some part of me pushes on to work out, because it's just built into me now, because it's been for years. So it's weird to me if I don't. Like I don't feel myself if I don't. So I push on to do a workout, and after it, those thoughts have somewhat subsided, they've shifted. But before that workout, I was in a completely different headspace. So I can't explain it, and I think it's one of those things that until you've adapted it and stuck with it, you won't know probably what I'm talking about. But then again, things work differently for everybody. We're so individual. So what I'm saying, things I do mightn't work for you. And I just feel like when I get in those states, I just really want to be close to the kids. Like there'll be days like on my Mondays off when I've had the day to myself, and it's quiet, and you think a lot. I mean, they're the busiest days. They're the days I keep myself extra busy. Like obviously you need a bit of the quiet as well. Like I don't have TVs or anything going when I'm here by myself. I'll listen to a podcast or music sometimes when I'm doing stuff around the house. But yeah, you need those bits of quiet too for your brain. A lot of the Mondays I'm really like hanging to get the kids and bring them back home with me. And like I said, they're with me all the time. They don't go anywhere, only daycare. But that's obviously probably on me, because I want to hold them close. And I think I have every right to want to do that. And I think I have every right to want to do that and hold them close and just have them with me. I know where they are. I know what they're doing. Yeah, so I just think it's those little things for the rest of my life I'm going to be holding on to. Like the little things that happen, like the kid's birthday coming up, the kids' birthday party coming up, and I make their cakes. And even though I feel a lot of anxiety around their birthdays, and then it comes and it goes, and then I'm like, why was I so anxious or nervous about that? But yeah, I feel like because I'm doing their parties and all on my own, I feel like it's all on my shoulders, just like the raising of the kids. I feel like that's all on my shoulders, like how they turn out is going to be on me, because I'm the one caring, I'm the one they're with all the time, apart from at daycare. Yeah, anyway, like I said, this video, it's just a therapy session for me, and I don't want that to come across as a bad thing, like I use YouTube for therapy. But I definitely feel the way it all started, the way I got started on YouTube in the first place, I feel it's like I was pushed to do it, to take my mind off the dark places it was going. And it might sound also ridiculous to people, but I feel like Bentley was pushing me in a sense to do it, because it's like he could see where I was going. And that was when Hub was about 4 months old. I remember sitting on the lounge at the old house, obviously, and because I had Bentley here with me, and he was sitting on the TV unit at that house, and I remember sitting there when Harper was having one of her naps, and I could feel myself going down, like really into a dark depression, thinking, and then I all of a sudden got my phone out. I know it sounds so ridiculous, like in that moment what made me get my phone out, but that's how it happened. And I got my old iPhone out and I set it up in my bedroom, and I filmed myself making my bed, and then I thought, I'll film myself feeding my dogs, and I'll film myself doing this. I went for a walk, I think, when Harper woke up that day. I took her for a walk, and then I took my phone and was vlogging like that with my phone, and then ever since then I've stuck with it, and it really brings me joy. Like, it gives me something to look forward to, like to edit it, and you know, the creative side of it just gives me like another, like a hobby, like something that I can set my mind on, my thoughts on. My camera's going flat, so I think I'm going just to wrap this video up. But thank you for anybody who stayed this long listening, hearing me out, just listening to me express myself and my feelings and my emotions, and thank you.